Rome, single-handedly one of, if not the greatest nations in human history, responsible for shaping the world as we know it. Almost everyone has at least a vague idea of what Rome was, but not many people know the story of how it was founded. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the founding of Rome in 5 minutes. Real quick disclaimer, this happened like a bajillion years ago, and we don't know how true all this information is, but to my knowledge, this is the most likely scenario of what happened. After the Athenian victory in the Trojan War, the city of Troy was sacked and destroyed. A man named Aeneas and his wife Lavinia took a group of Trojan survivors back to the banks of the Tiber, where he founded a city known as Lavinia in honor of his wife. His son, Ascanius, who was next in line to the throne, wanted to found his own city rather than become the king of Lavinia, and so he founded a city known as Alba Longa. For many generations, Ascanius' family ruled over Alba Longa until a man named Procas came into power. Procas had two sons named Numitor and Amulius. Numitor was older, and so he had the rightful claim to the throne, but Amulius wanted the throne for himself, and so he forcefully took power from his father. He then took Numitor's daughter, Rhea Silvia, and made her a Vestal Virgin. This meant that she could not have kids under threat of death. Legend has it that Mars himself came down from the heavens and impregnated Rhea Silvia. She would soon give birth to two boys named Romulus and Remus. When Amulius found out about this, he imprisoned Rhea Silvia and sent the two boys to drift down the banks of the Tiber River, where it is thought that they would have died of exposure. According to the story, once they had reached the bank of the Tiber River, they were picked up by a she-wolf who nursed them back to health. They were then found by Faustulus and Acalarentina, who raised them as their own. They then grew up in the local village until they were about 18. Around this time, they had become very popular among the locals for stopping robbers from stealing from the poor, sometimes even stealing from those robbers and redistributing their wealth among the people. Because of this, they had amassed a loyal following. During a celebration, a band of robbers attacked Romulus and Remus. Romulus managed to fight his way out of the situation, but Remus wasn't so lucky, getting turned over to Amulius by the bandits. During this time, Romulus was told that he was the son of Amulius and the rightful heir to the throne. Amulius, not fully understanding who Remus was, let him go free. This would prove to be a huge mistake. Romulus met up with his brother and assembled a group of their friends from the town. He then proceeded to raid Amulius' palace and kill him. Numitor, who was now in charge of Alba Longa, sent guards to deal with what he thought was a foreign invasion. When he found out that Romulus and Remus were the heads of this attack, he met up with them and soon came to the realization that they were his grandchildren. He then told the nobles of the land what Amulius had done. The people agreed to offer the twins a joint ruling of Alba Longa, but the boys preferred to found their own city instead. The boys and a group of around 3,000 people joined them in the founding of a city known as Rome. There was a problem, though. The boys could not decide where to build the city. Romulus wanted to build it on the Palatine Hill, where we get the word palace, so that it would be easier to defend. Remus wanted to build it on the Aventine Hill, so that it would be easier to trade with their neighbors. They went to Numitor to resolve the issue. Numitor told them to look for signs from the gods to see whose spot was better. Both of the boys waited to find any sign from the gods, and after a couple of days of searching, Remus saw 6 vultures above the Aventine Hill. Romulus then reported finding 12 vultures above the Palatine Hill. The boys then got into a heated argument over whose claim was more legitimate. Remus then decided to antagonize Romulus by jumping over his camp walls. But they sat down, had a conversation about their issues, where they talked about how violence was never the answer. Just kidding. Romulus bashed Remus's head in with a shovel. If that ain't brotherly love, I do not know what is. And so Romulus became the sole ruler of Rome, turning it into the most powerful empire of the ancient world. Sometimes I like to wonder what would have happened if Remus would have killed Romulus instead. Would Rome have become a trading nation instead of one that was almost constantly at war with one or more of its neighbors? Would it have fallen into ruin? I guess we'll never know. But what we do know is that the subscribe button is a free way to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and peace.